Hi friends, in this video we'll talk about how to develop a fully functional email client in Microsoft Excel. This email client is very flexible, as in you can use any of the email service providers to send emails via this email client. For example, you can even configure Gmail to send out bulk messages via this email client. If you want tips on how to use Gmail as an email client, then please watch this video till the end, where I will explain how to configure Gmail so that you can use this email client to send out bulk messages via Gmail. Okay. So the first thing that we have to do is to create a mail config sheet. We'll go ahead and quickly create that. Here we will add certain details like SMTP server name, what is the SMTP port, what is the username, what is the password, are we sending emails via SSL, this will be true or false, and what will be a from email address. So these are the fields that will be used by your SMTP code to send out emails. Now let us start developing our VBA application. So we'll go to the developer tab here and click on Visual Basic. Now clicking on the developer tab will open up a Visual Basic project window. What we'll do is we'll click on new user form. A new user form will come up here. What we can do is in this user form, you can quickly go ahead and add control options like frame, changing the name of the frame to send mail. Then we'll have another frame over here. This frame will hold our SMTP details. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll add labels over here like to, then CC, ECC. Similarly, we can go ahead and add text boxes over here. Okay. Now what we have to keep in mind is that we have to change the variable names of all the input fields. So for text boxes, for example, we'll go ahead and change this as txt.to. This is the naming convention that we'll be using. Similarly, for the user form, we'll be using something like frm main window. Okay. I will not go ahead and develop this complete form for you for the time's sake. What I've done is I've already developed a form. This was done using the same toolbox with drag and drop features. If you see here, I've changed the subject names. I've changed the variable names as txt subject. For the subject, I've changed the text box names according to what they represent. I have left the label names as is because I'm not referencing these label names in my code. What I've also done is I've created some command buttons. The command buttons can be created using this, and I've changed the name here as well as the caption over here. Now, one thing that I want to explain over here is this message box. This is a normal text box that I have dragged from here. If you see here, there's a normal text box, but few things that I have enabled, few properties that I have enabled that you must keep in mind. Number one is word wrap should be true. Another thing that you should do is enter key behavior. So you should mark that as true as well. Another thing that you have to do is multi-line. So this property should be marked as true as well. So this is something that you have to keep in mind for this message box. Otherwise, you will not be able to type out messages in multiple lines. All right, now let's go ahead and start developing the code. So I will click on this window, view code. You will see that a sub has already been created. If it has not yet been created for you, you can use this drag drop down and then you can select the appropriate function. So I'm using initialize because I want to change and modify few properties when my user form initializes. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to do temp sh as worksheet, and I want to set this sh worksheet as equal to active workbook dot sheets, and I will use the name of this mail config sheet. Okay, so make sure that the name is spelling of the name is correct. Okay, now what we want to do is with frm main window, I'll set all the initial variables as blank. Okay, so number one, txt bcc equal to blank, dot txt cc is equal to blank, dot txt 2 is equal to blank, dot txt subject is equal to blank, dot txt um, message is equal to blank. Okay, what I'll also do is in our smtp details section we have to fetch what is the correct value from our config sheet so that it is displayed. So what I'll do is .txt smtp server is equal to sh dot cells. It is in the first row, second column. Okay. Now again, what I have to do is smtp port name. So similarly, txt port equal to is in the second row column. Okay. Then .txt username is equal to sh dot cells 2 comma 3. Similarly, txt pass is equal to sh dot cells 2 comma 4. uh, for the whether it is ssl enabled or not, we have to use an if filter. So we'll use if sh dot cells 2 comma 5 equal to true. Then we have to make dot txt, sorry, dot check ssl dot value equal to true. Else we have to say dot ckssl dot value equal to false. Then end if. Now again the last thing that is left is dot txt from email. Now this would be sh dot cells 2 comma 6. Now all my initial values are set in the main window. So when the form initializes, all the details would be populated. Okay. Now next thing that I need to do is what if someone goes ahead and checks this. Okay, so I will double click there and it said ssl dot click. What I'll do is ssl dot change because I want to change it when this checkbox is clicked or unclicked. Okay, so the code for that would be, again I will define this worksheet, so I'll just copy paste this code over here. And then if I'll check if frm main window dot ckssl dot value is equal to true, then my value of sh then sh dot cells 2 comma 5 should be equal to true. Else sh dot cells 2 comma 5 equal to false. This will be our code when the SSL form is clicked. Now, what we need to do again is lastly define what will happen when I go to this form and click on save details. So I'll just double click here. So on saving these details, I need, and clicking this button, I need to be able to save this details of SMTP server on our sheet. And to do that, what we'll have again do is define our worksheet. Okay? And then we'll say with sh and okay, and we'll say dot cells 1 comma 2 is equal to frm main dot txt smtp server dot value. Similarly, I will just say dot cells 2 comma 2 equal to frm main win dot txt smtp txt port dot value. Cells 2 comma 3 3 comma 2 equal to frm main win dot txt username dot value. Then we'll say cells 4 comma 2 equal to frm main win dot txt pass dot value dot cells 6 comma 2 is equal to frm main win dot txt from email. And the last thing that we have to do is to plug in the value of our um, checkbox, but we can leave it here because as we see is whenever we click on this SSL change checkbox, what will happen is this event would or method would be called and our checkbox would automatically be populated. So we don't need to write that code over here. Um, then I'll go back to this form again. And the last thing that is pending here is about sending the actual email. So we'll double click here. This is the main function that we have to develop. And to do this, I will develop a sub function or a sub procedure as we call it in VBA. Okay. So I would just say sub send mail. Send mail function would be the actual function that would be used to send out emails. So let's start defining it. So we'll just say dim new mail as object. We'll say dim mail config as object. We'll say dim fields as variants. We'll say dim ms config url as string. And what I'll also do is, let's say on error what we need to do. So on error we'll say go to err. Okay. And we'll define what err will do later on. ERR colon over here as placeholder. Okay, so that we don't forget. We also need to define our sheet over here. So we'll say dim sh as workbook, a worksheet. Okay. And then we'll set sh is equal to active worksheet dot active workbook dot sheets. Now we'll start loading all the default configurations. Okay, so also we'll do some late binding of this We'll say late binding over here, and then we'll say set new mail equal to create object cdo dot message. This is the reference that we are using. Remember, we had linked the reference library, so we are using that reference to create a new mail object over here. Okay, and we'll also say set mail config as create object cdo dot configuration. Okay. And then this is how we have referenced the cdo library that's there in VBA. Now we'll go ahead and start loading all the default configurations. So we'll say load configs. Okay. Then we'll say mail config dot loads -1. And then we'll say set fields equal to mail config dot feeds. Now we have to do is to set our email properties. So we'll say with email and end with over here. So we'll start by saying we want to set the from property over here. So from property is sh dot cells 6 2. We have to set the to property here. Dot to equal to sh sorry frm main window dot txt to value, and dot cc is equal to frm main bin dot txt cc dot value. We'll say dot bcc is equal to frm main bin dot txt bcc dot value. Then we'll say subject is equal to frm main bin dot txt. Okay. And then what we need to also load is the text body, the actual message. So we'll say text body equal to frm in win.txt message dot value. So these are some of the properties of the mails that I have sent. So the actual contents of the email is now loaded. Now what we have to do is say ms config url, the property that we defined over here is equal to https colon schemas dot microsoft.com slash ceo slash configuration. So this is the configuration URL schema. Now again, what we need to do is to set the fields object. So we'll do with fields and end with. We need to do here is in the fields, we will define the SMTP server details. Okay. Now the first thing that we need to do is to check whether the email that will be sent would be via SSL or without SSL. So how you will do is by defining the SMTP use SSL property. So we'll say if sh dot cells 5 2 equal to true, then dot item this msconfig URL, we will append slash smtp use SSL property. Okay, as true. Else we will use this and make it false. We'll make end if. Okay. Now similarly we have to define the other properties. So we'll go ahead and define them. So next one is about SMTP authenticate. So we'll go ahead and change it. Now this one is um, one, because we'll be using our SMTP server. So we have to provide this as SMTP authenticate as one. Okay. Now next one is about SMTP server. Okay. Our server name is sh.cells 1 comma 2. Then next one is about SMTP server port. So we'll go ahead and add the server port over here. Okay. And this will be 2 comma 2. Next one would be your SMTP using, okay, and this uh, value would be 2. This is like we'll be using the default SMTP configurations. And next one would be about SMTP username. We'll type username here, and this will be sh.cells 3 comma 2. Okay. And last one would be about SMTP password. So we'll just say password. And it will be like sh.cells 4 comma. I just realized that the property value for this would be not SMTP using, it will be send using. This will also be send username, and this will be like send password. Okay. Now once we have, we also need to update this. So we'll say SMTP update, and our fields SMTP details are now updated. Now we'll just, now our details are all updated. Now what we need to do is we just need to send out our mail. So how we will send out our mail is using the new mail object that we had defined here, which holds our sender details. And we'll say new dot configuration is equal to mail config, which we have defined over here. Okay. And then what we need to do is say new mail dot send. Okay. Now this will send out the email. Now in case of error, we need to catch the error. So but first what we'll do is we'll do a quick message box and say that your email has been sent. Okay. And what we need to do is VB just information. Okay. And now what we'll do is we'll define what happens if in case of an error. Okay. So we'll do here is we'll use a select case statement over here. We'll select case err dot number, and we'll say that let's say the case. Now the error numbers are specific to what these new mail CDO object sends us. So these are long error numbers. Okay, so more on these error numbers can be found on the CDO reference library page. You can go there and have a look at that. Okay, so we'll say if 214.722.0973. So if this is the error, this might be because of internet connection. Okay. So what we'll do here is we'll just say a message box, say internet issue. Okay. And what we'll also do is we'll append here bb new line, and we'll just add the error number and the error description. We'll say error, or we'll just add the error description for now. Okay. Similarly, we'll say case, this one is 214.722.0975, and this one is a credential issue. Basically your username and passwords etc are wrong, so we'll just say message box, we'll say wrong credentials. Okay. And we'll then append err dot description. And lastly what we'll do is we'll say case everything else. Okay. We'll say msg box error update, and we'll just print the error description over here, and then we'll end our select case box. Now, this is what happens when our error is encountered. What we also need to do is basically clean up in case of an error. So we'll just, and this cleanup should only be in case of an error. Okay, so we'll just say resume exit underscore err, and this exit underscore err would be defined here. We'll say set new mail as nothing. We are releasing the memory. We'll set mail config as nothing. So these are the two things that we need to do, and then we'll end our sub. Now this is our entire code. Let us quickly do a compile and see if we get any error. We are not right now not getting any compilation error. Now we'll go ahead and quickly run this code, and we see that our user interface quickly pops up and we are not getting any error. Okay, so I'll just close this for now. The last thing that is pending is to create a module. If you do not have a module listed over here, what you can do is you can click here and add module over here. It will add a module over here. Okay, what I'll do is I'll add a sub over here called show frm. Okay, and the only thing that it will do is it will say frm main window dot show. Now let us go back to our Excel sheet. I will create a sheet called launcher over here. Okay, I will insert shape and call it launch. I'll increase the font size so that it's visible. Okay, then I'll go ahead and add a sign macro. I'll select show frm, click. Okay, now let me go ahead and hide the grid lines. Now whenever I'll click on this launch shape, Now the shape will behave like a button and it will open our email client. Now what will happen is that we need to enter the details. For example, I will enter xyz at xyz.com. You can similarly enter your carbon copy BCC subject line, let's say demo, and type in the message, hello, this is a sample email message. Thanks. Okay. And when you click on send email, based on the details that are filled in over here, the email would be sent. And if the details are not proper, you will get error message as per exception. Now for the bonus tip on how to use Gmail as an email client. Now Google, as per policy, has made significant changes into using third-party email clients. So what you need to do is, number one, in your email Google Gmail, what you can do is first enable two-factor authentication. So that is the first step that you have to do. When you enable two-factor authentication, Google enables another uh, form for you, wherein what you can do is to enable apps third-party client email client specific apps password. Now you will generate a password for your specific email client, and this password you will use in the password field over here. So it's not the Gmail password that you'll be using, it will be the email client password that will be generated in the Google account console. Okay, so these are two steps to keep in mind while using Google or Gmail details. If you're using, let's say, any other third party email client, let's say for example, if you buy something from HostGator, you get a server name by default. You can very easily use them over here and send out emails. Okay, for HostGator and let's say other similar email clients, what you have to make sure is that SSL enabled is equal to false, because by default they do not send out emails that are SSL enabled. So only if you are sure that they are sending SSL enabled emails, then you should select SSL. Hope you like this video. Thank you, and please put in comments any challenges that you're facing with respect to this tool. I will be happy to answer. Thank you.